everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sari and you are watching my knitting podcast videos. And I know it's been a while since I filmed my previous video. I think it was in spring. I don't know what happened. I don't really have any excuses why I haven't been filming. I've been traveling quite a lot, as a lot of you might know. I've been to the States a couple of times, first for Flock Fiber Festival and most recently to Sacred Sheep in Portland, and then I've been to London and Bergen in Norway for Bergen Strikke Festival, so also teaching there. So I've been on the road quite a lot lately, and also I've been working on my next book, and I hope I can start sharing about that project a bit more. But those kind of things have been keeping me busy behind the scenes, so kind of like I have had to take something off my plate for a while, and I think filming YouTube videos has been that for me, at least for the past few months. Also in my personal life, as you might know, I work a lot from home, so this is my office room. It's a spare bedroom in the upstairs of our house here. This is where I mostly work from, and until last year my son had this after school club every day after school. So when his school days ended around noon, then he went to the club and he was there until 4 or 5 p.m. So I had kind of like the whole day for me. But now when he turned 9, there's no club anymore for that year or that age, and so he comes home at 1:15 p.m. So that kind of like means that I have half a day of work to do alone from home, and it's quite impossible for me to film anything when I have the kid at home. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I haven't been filming lately. I just haven't had the time to stay at home alone to have time to film. But today it's Sunday, so my husband took the kid to the swimming pool, so they're going to be gone for 2 or 3 hours. So I have time to show you everything I have been knitting lately. I think the last time I filmed an episode was in April, so obviously I can't show you everything that I have knitted during these past 5 months or so, but I'll show you what I have on my needles and a couple of things that I recently finished. The sweater that I'm wearing at the moment, this is the Acorn Pullover. I just released the pattern last week and it's been one of my favorites to wear lately. So it's lace pullover. Just come closer so you can see the stitch pattern. So there's this lace pattern, and then this section is just purl stitches and knit stitches alternating, and then lace pattern in between. So it's super easy, very intuitive when you get into it, and I'm calling it the Acorn Pullover because when I started working on it, I think it looks like a little acorn. So this is the kind of like the cap of the acorn, and this is the nut part. I don't know what's the correct word for calling them, but I think it looks like rows of acorns. Like that was a fun name for it. The yarn that I used for this one I bought from the Flock Fiber Festival in August in Seattle. It's Farmer's Daughter Fibers, this one, and this is the Oh Dang base. So this is 26% silk and 74% Suri alpaca. It's super soft. The colorway is called Many Moons, and I combined it with the same brand, so it's the Farmer's Daughter Fibers, but this is the Soka'pii base, and this is 100% Montana and Wyoming Rambouillet wool, so it's fingering weight yarn. So it's fingering plus kind of like silk mohair, but it's Sari silk instead, and the colorway is the same, and many moons. If you have been following me for a longer time, my tech editor Jesslyn, who also edited my book softly. I'm going to be talking about this a bit more in this episode. And she also drew all these little photos or pictures of all the knits you can see in the book. So she has made these beautiful pictures for this yarn. So when you see all these cute little, this is an alpaca, so pictures, they are drawn by my tech editor Jesslyn. So just wanted to tell you about that. So it's the Acorn Pullover. The pattern is available on Ravelry, and I'll give you a little discount code for that. So if you use the word acorn on Ravelry or in my web shop on sarinordot.com, you'll get this pattern for -20% until the end of the year. But I will link everything, all the yarn names, all the pattern names, all the links that I talk about in this episode. I will link everything below this video. So if you go to the description section below the video, you'll see everything written there. So just check everything there. There's a link to the pattern both on Ravelry and on my web shop. But anyway, everything I'm knitting at the moment is here next to me, or not quite everything. I have a couple of small shawl projects that I didn't bring upstairs, but there's really not that much to show, and I already have so many things here next to me that I want to show you. So I think there's more than enough to show for one video, and I'll try to film another video soon and show you the little shawls that I'm working on. The first thing that I have next to me here, this is a sweater that I'm working on. I'm calling it the Stars Hello Pullover. So I've been rewatching Gilmore Girls. It's been years since I last time watched the whole series, and it's something that's super close to my heart because I grew up watching it, so it brings back so many memories, and I think it's kind of like the perfect thing to watch when the fall comes. So I started rewatching it, and I've been knitting this at the same time, and I felt kind of like inspired by all the knitwear they are wearing in the show, and I think this is something that a character could be wearing in the show. So that's why I'm calling it the Stars Hello Pullover. So I'm working on the body at the moment. I just finished the sleeves, and I'm currently writing the pattern, so I'm having the call for test knitters for this one next week. And if you want to join my test knits, I always call for them nowadays in my Instagram stories, so make sure you follow me on Instagram to see when I put out a new call for test knitters. But this is coming soon for test knitting. And as you can see, it's worked top down. It has the European shoulder construction, so it has kind of like dropped shoulder, sloped sleeves, sloped shoulder construction, and I added a bit of short rows to the top of the sleeves, so it kind of has a bit of like a sleeve cap, so I think that improves the fit. And like I said, I just finished the sleeves and just working the rest of the body now. I'm working this with Kelbourne Woolens Lucky Tweed, and this is the colorway Cream, and it's an Aran weight 100% merino wool yarn. Don't know if you can see, it's super beautiful. It's kind of like creamy of white with some light yellow and light blue speckles. Just over here you can see the blue speckles, I think, better. It's super beautiful. I bought this last May when I was in Philadelphia for Melissa Liebman's retreat. She had this little shop within the retreat, and since Kelbourne Woolens is from Philadelphia, it was kind of like the local yarn for the event. So I bought this from there, and after the event I even went to the Kelbourne Woolens shop in Philadelphia, and I picked some other yarns from there. I have another Kelbourne Woolens project on my needles that I will show you next. But anyway, this is the Lucky Tweed yarn. It's really nice to work with, and I think it's super nice for cables. It shows the stitch pattern really well, so a crisp cable pattern. And I blocked the back of this sweater. When I had started, I wanted to see kind of like how it behaves. So it blooms really beautifully. It's like becomes really soft after blocking. So this is the unblocked side, so you can see the stitches are like crisper and a bit rougher, more rustic over this side, and this side it's a lot more like it has bloomed. It's softer, a bit more hazy, and you can even feel it. It's a lot more like cotton wool softness to it. So it's going to be a favorite. I know this is such a classic design, so I wanted to do something that when you knit it, it's not going to go out of style like ever. So if you knit it now, then you can still use it 10 years or even 20 years from now. I don't think this kind of sweaters ever go out of style, and I wanted to do a bit chunkier cable than I usually work with, so this is what I came up with. So this is the Stars Hollow Pullover, and as soon as I get the pattern ready, there's going to be a call for test knitters, and I think the release of this pattern is maybe at the end of the year or very early January. Let's see how quickly I get the pattern ready. The other Kelbourne Woolens project that I'm knitting at the moment is the Ebba pullover. So it's this one, and it's kind of like the same situation as the Stars Hollow Pullover. So I have one sleeve ready, the next sleeve is like a bit more half over done, and the body is halfway done. So instead of doing cables, I wanted to do something that looks like cables, but this is actually lace. So if you look closer, you can see that it's a lace pattern instead of cable pattern. So it's not as bulky as it would be as a cable pattern, and it's a bit more airy because of the eyelets in the lace. So this is for the people who want the look of cables but don't want to knit them or wear them for any reason. So it's a cable looking lace pullover, and I'm calling it Ebba. The name comes from the person who grounded my hometown, Pietarsaari. It's a two-language town, bilingual town on the west coast of Finland. So in Finnish, which is my native tongue, it's called Pietarsaari. But in Swedish it's called Jakobstad, so named after two different men. Pietarsaari comes from Pietari Brahe, which is one of like big men in history in Finland, and Jakobstad comes from Jacob de la Gardie, who was supposed to be founding my hometown, but he died So his wife Ebba was the one who actually founded my hometown, and this was in the 18th century, and I think even until today she's the only woman who has ever founded a town in Finland. So I kind of like wanted to celebrate this kind of like female power of founding a city in 18th century Finland, and it's my hometown, so that's where the name comes from. And it's Jakobstad because she wanted to like kind of like remember his or her husband, so it's named after her husband Jacob de la Gardie, but Ebba founded the town. So this is the Ebba pullover, and this is what the sleeves look like. And I was telling you that I had another Kelbourne Woolens project on my needles, so this is knitted with Kelbourne Woolens Scout. It's my first time using this yarn. Also, I never used the Lucky Tweed before, so first times. And this is 100% wool. It's DK weight. The colorway is called Stone Heather. It's really beautiful, kind of like cool brown. It has also like a bit of gray and sort of like bluish shade to it at some point. So super beautiful, and I have really liked working with this yarn. And for this sweater I wanted to make kind of like this funnel neck, and I added a bit of just stockinette stitch at the end, so it has kind of like this rolling effect. But for the pattern I wrote an alternative for a folded neck, so if you don't want a funnel neck you can always fold it the same way that I have on this Acorn Pullover over here. So just knit it and then fold it and sew it on the inside. So that's another option, but I have noticed that I like wearing funnel necks during winter. Winters in Finland can be really cold, so I like having something around my neck, and funnel necks are really great for that. They are not quite as heavy or tight around your neck as like a regular turtleneck. So this is the Ebba pullover, and it's already being test knitted, so the pattern is coming out very early December, so I think the first week of December if I stay in my schedule. So I just have to finish the sleeve. I think I will have that done by tonight, and then I have a bit of more for the body. But since this is laced, I think it's so much faster to knit than gables, so this is kind of like flying off my needles. So Ebba pullover with Kelbourne Woolens. So those were my Kelbourne Woolens projects at the moment, and yeah, what else? Just show you my little hat project next. So this is not a new pattern. Sometimes I like revisiting my old patterns, and especially the ones that I really like wearing. So this is the Robin beanie. You might remember a couple of years ago I made the bright pink Justin Bieber hat. So that was the Robin beanie, and this is the same pattern. So it started at the top, increased, and then the rest is just 2x2 rib, so super easy. For me, rib beanies are kind of like those projects that I like to take with me when I'm on the go, because first of all, a hat project is such a small thing that you can always fit it in almost any purse or handbag, so it's very portable. Rib beanie, you don't have to think about what row you are on. It's just knit 2, purl 2, or knit 1, purl 1 rib, depending on the rib. And I think I usually I get bored if I just knit stockinette stitch, and ribbing has kind of like, there's something happening all the time, even though I don't have to count anything or I don't have to think about it, because it's kind of like mechanical work for me. Once you get into the rhythm, you don't have to think about it, it's just like going forward. But still there's something more happening than just stockinette stitch. So for me, I like knitting ribbing when I'm on the go. So I decided to cast on another robin beanie, and if you look at it like far away, it looks very neutral, but if I bring it closer, I think you can see it has this fun neon yellow speckles. So I really love this yarn. It has kind of like just enough of something crazy going on, but still you would call it neutral. So the yarn that I'm using, I bought this one a year ago, almost exactly to the date, a year ago, from Barcelona Knits. It's Pru Punk Rock Unicorn, and it's their Soul base. It's actually kind of like a sock yarn, so it has 85% merino and 15% nylon, and it's fingering weight. The colorway is called Neon Oats. So this is the base yarn that I'm using. So this is the one that has the neon speckle in it. And then I'm combining it with my leftover Odang from this sweater. So it's I had a skein and a half of leftovers from this sweater, so I'm using them for this. And let's see if I have enough leftovers for a pair of mittens as well. So that's kind of like my plan. But yeah, it's the robin beanie. It's going to be kind of like this neon speckled version. But yeah, this is my on-the-go project. I casted this on for the Sacred Ship Festival, so that I could carry something with me when I was at the festival and talking with people, or if I had to wait for my class to start or my talk to start or something like that. So it's easy to just take out of the bag. You don't have to think about what row you're on, like I told you, or check the chart or anything. You can just knit a few stitches and then put it back into the bag and then continue again when you have time. So this was my go-to project for that, my cast on project for that trip. I like casting on new things when I travel. I think in that way it's kind of like my souvenir project from my trips. I think like every time I knit something, and then when I see the knit again later, it's all the things that I have been, either the music that I have been listening to, the audiobook that I have been listening to, the TV series that I have been watching, if I knit that in some special place with some special people, all those things come back to me. So also when I travel, kind of like those traveling moments, memories of the places where I knitted, that project are kind of like knitted into the project. So that's why I like casting on a new project when I travel. And when I went to Portland for Sacred Sheep, I had one sweater project with me that I had started already earlier. I will show it to you soon. But then I wanted to have something special that I casted on. One of those was, of course, the robin beanie, but like a special sweater project, like a new design, not something that like the robin beanie that I had already designed earlier. But yeah, so this is what I casted on. This is, I'm calling it the Vivi pullover. So this is what I casted on. So I started the back on my flight from Helsinki to Portland, and then I continued working on the back on my while I was in Portland. and I had finished the bag before my flight back. So I had a stopover in Dallas, so I first flew from Portland to Dallas and then from Dallas to Helsinki. So on the flight from Portland to Dallas, I started working on the fronts, so I finished the fronts on that flight. And then I ended up waiting, I think almost over 9 hours in Dallas because there was like really big storm coming, so our flight was delayed. So I finished the whole neckband and the rest of the front while I was waiting for my connecting flight. And then by the time I got to the airplane, I was so tired that I slept the whole way from Dallas to Helsinki, which was actually a good thing. So I didn't need almost anything, just a couple of stitches on that flight. But anyway, after that I have been working on the body, so I joined the front and the back, and I've been working on that when I came home. So it looks like this at the moment. And this is actually kind of like based on my older design. A year ago I first made the Vivienne tee, and after that I made the Vivienne pullover. Just a second, I will go and get the Vivienne pullover. So this is the Vivienne pullover. The pattern is available on Ravelry and in my web shop. So you can see it here. So it has this honeycomb pattern here in the middle, and then these cables on the side. And after designing this one, I wanted to turn it into a hat. So I made the Vivienne beanie pattern, and for this one I skipped the honeycomb here in the middle and just used these basic cables, this twisted stitch and knit pearl pattern, and then this cable over here. So you can see that. So these are the same, then this one, and then that, and then it starts again. So this is the Vivienne beanie, and I wanted to knit a second Vivienne beanie this autumn. So this is the second Vivienne beanie that I made. And while I was working on it, I started to think about the cables. So I really like this cable pattern, and I wanted to use this cable pattern for a design. So that's how then this one came about. So it has the same cable sequence as this one. So there's this one, and then the twisted rib pattern, and then the small cable, and again twisted stitches, and again this one. So it's kind of like modified from the Vivienne, but instead of having the honeycomb, it has just the cables. So that's why it's not called Vivienne, it's Vivi. So it has just part of the Vivienne pattern, so that's why it's Vivi. And it looks like this. And the yarn that I'm using for this one, it's knitting for Olive. It's their Merino wool. This is the colorway called Soil, and then their soft silk mohair, and it's called Nut Brown. So this is the combination that I'm using for the Vivi flower. So this is kind of like my favorite thing to knit at the moment. I was just telling my partner last night that I don't understand. I have so many knitting needles, but still every time I need something, it's either in another project or I just can't find anything. I know I have so many 3.5 millimeter knitting needles with the short 40 centimeter 16-inch cable, so 3.5 millimeter, I think that's US 4. So that's the needle size that I use most for anything I knit. Either 3mm usually for ribbing, 3.5 or 4mm if it's like a really large cable pattern or something like that. But yeah, I have so many of the short cables with 3.5mm needles, and I can't find any of them. I don't know where they are. I have one needle of the same size over here. This is the Ebba pullover sleeve, so that's why I'm kind of like rushing to get to the end of the sleeve so I can free these needles and then I can start the sleeve for this one. So I want to make one sleeve, and after I have finished that, then I can finalize writing the pattern and have the pattern for test knitting. But I need to knit one sleeve first to see how I like it and see that I like the decreases and so on. But yeah, I'm missing all my 3.5mm needles, like with the short cable, and I have absolutely no idea where they are. I've been going through all my needles, and I know that I have plenty of those because I have bought so many of those, and even all my like interchangeable needle sets and the 3.5mm needles are somewhere, and also I'm using the short cables somewhere. I have no idea where, but every single 3.5mm needle that I own with the 40cm cable is nowhere to be found. I could do a magic loop, but I would rather knit it in the round, so that's why I'm trying to rush the Ebba pullover sleeve to get the needles free. I think I have to go to the yarn shop on Monday to buy more needles again. I just had to go and buy 3mm needles because it was the same thing. I couldn't find any with this short 40cm cable. I had one pair or one needle, circular needle, and I dropped that at the Bergen airport. So I had it when I was going on the airplane, and when I was on the airplane and I was going to do a ribbing for neck, it was nowhere to be found, so I had dropped it somewhere. So I had to go and I bought three needles with 3mm needles and the short cable. So now I think I have to do the same thing for the 3.5mm needles, and I know that soon they are also gone. I have no idea where they are. But anyway, that's about the Vivi pullover. Just can't wait to show more of that to you. It's so fun to knit. I love it. I have one more textured pullover here. I already mentioned this one to you. So this was the other sweater project that I took with me to Portland that I was working on the trip. And put the needles better so I can show that to you. So this is called the Meredith Grey pullover at the moment. It's kind of like the working title. Two reasons. Reason one is that I bought the yarn in Seattle for while I was there for the Flock Fiber Festival, and reason two is that I'm using Les Garcons yarn for this one. This is their British DK, and the colorway is called Meredith Grey. Let's see if I can focus on it, but it's Meredith Grey. So I bought the yarn in Seattle, and the colorway is called Meredith Grey. So that's why it's been under the working title Meredith Grey pullover. I really like the name. I think it's fun to have a Stars Hollow pullover and then Meredith Grey pullover, so I think I might keep the name. And this is also a lace sweater with raglan construction. you can see over here how it looks like. So this was my other travel project for my Portland trip to Sacred Sheep Fiber Festival. So it started at the top, as you can see, and I have finished all the raglan increases and separated the sleeves, and now I'm working on the body. So I think everything that I'm knitting at the moment is at the same part. So I have started it, I have made it to the armholes, I have made the neckband, some already have the sleeves, some are still waiting for the sleeve, and I still have 2 more sweater projects next to me that I will show you that are at the same point. But I don't know, it's kind of like I have this crazy cast on moment at the moment. I have so many amazing ideas that I want to work on, so I keep casting on things and then I keep working on them until the body, so that I can see that all the increases work, and when it's time for the straight part, so the body and the sleeves, I kind of like lose interest and I want to cast on something else instead. So I know I have a problem, but yeah, that's why I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 6 sweater projects at this very point at the moment, and I have already three different sweater ideas. I have yarn caked for one, and I have the charts drawn for all of them and the math ready. I just have to get something off my needles before I cast on on something else. But anyway, Meredith Grey pullover with Les Garcons yarn, British DK, and super nice yarn to work with. I love this color. It's kind of like a really warm grey colorway. I think it looks really good on me. But yeah, this is a bit more complicated lace pattern. But if you want something that like really keeps your mind occupied, then I think this is going to be amazing for that. Not so much, not that intuitive knitting, you really have to look at the charts, but at least I sometimes crave projects that are like totally kind of like you have to focus just on that and like close everything else off and just focus on what the next stitch is. So I usually have at this moment I have more things on my needles than I usually have. I don't know what's wrong with me at the moment, but usually I have something that is super complicated, such as the Meredith Grey pullover is for me at the moment. Then I have something that is a slightly more complicated but still intuitive. I think the Vivi pullover is a good example for that. There's still a texture, but it's kind of like straightforward, so you can see all the time what is happening next. And then I want something simple like the Robin beanie that I don't have to think about or even look at all while I'm knitting. So those are kind of like the 3 different tiers of projects that I like working on, and I have to have at least one of each category on my needles all the time because of different situations and different mindsets. So if it has been a very hectic day and I don't want to think about anything, then I want to take the super complicated so that I can like really just focus on that and forget about everything else. Or if I want to knit the project somewhere where I can't focus, then this is a good project for that. But yeah, 2 more sweater projects coming up. I'll start with this one. This is also a yarn that I got from Flock Fiber Festival. And you can see it here. So this is going to be a lightweight version of my Tula pullover. So I'll just go and quickly change into the Tula sweater so you'll see what it looks like. So this is my Tula pullover. I made the first one maybe 4 years ago, and this one maybe 3 years ago. I think I released the pattern already 3 years ago as well. And the Tula pullover is, I have 3. So I have a white one, then this one, and then I have one that is like more grayish of white, beige kind of color. But yeah, it's the one that I wear the most, and after 3 years of constant use you can start seeing that it has started to fray a bit, so it's not that fresh looking anymore. So, and also it's a loose string, it's starting to come apart. I should fix it a bit, but it's my favorite home sweater. My plan is to knit exactly the same sweater this winter. So this is knitted with Durarum Naturals Sirena. This is the, I think, Portrait Cell colorway. So it's my absolutely favorite home sweater. It's now home sweater, but usually when it was still in better condition I used it everywhere. I like the increases on the neck, I like the rolling neck, I like the sleeves, everything. So I wanted to do this same pattern but with a bit more lightweight yarn. So this is what I cast it on. So it has the same kind of increases as the original Tula. It has the same rolling neck, and it's going to have similar sleeves. So I have already made it almost to the end of the yoke. I think I have one more set of increases left before separating the sleeves. But I already know that as soon as I get this off my needles, it's going to be similar favorite as this one. And like I said, my plan is to knit another Tula for myself, because this is the one that I kind of like, I wear it almost every day during the winter. It's just like it's perfect, but like I showed you, it's not it's so worn already that I can't wear it outside the house anymore. So that's why I want a new one like this as well. But for the lightweight version, I'm using yarns from Moondrake fiber company. So this one is their naked base. So this is baby yak. So it's 41% baby alpaca, 13% merino, 10% yak, and 35% silk. And then I'm using natural grey base yak silk fingering. So it's 50% silk and 50% yak. And they are both undyed colors, and I wish you could kind of like reach into the screen and feel how soft this is, but it's like, it's so nice to knit. It's so soft and fluffy, and I think the silk in the silk yak yarn gives it a lot of drape, so it's going to be so beautiful, and it's going to be so gorgeous to wear as soon as I get it off my needles. Like I said, one more set of increases and then separating the sleeves for that one. Luna is here. She is starting to get a bit old, so she doesn't like jumping anymore, so I now kind of like have to lift her up every time she wants to come here. But yeah, Luna is always in my videos, so she's here now. I have another similar simple project on my needles at the moment. So we are currently hosting a softly knit along with Casey from Young Folk Knits, and I picked the Acorn Pullover for my first cast on for this knit along. So this is from my book. So the Softly Timeless Knits, my book, came out a year ago, and I've been meaning to have a knit along for this ever since, but just haven't had the time to start that, and now we finally decided to host a knit along. So you can either start a new project, just pick any of the patterns in this book, or if you have already started something, you have a project on your needles, then just continue with that. I kind of like want this to be kind of low-key, easy to join, and don't like knitting with deadlines, and I don't want to promote knitting with deadlines, so I want to promote like more like mindful making, and also mindless making. Sometimes you need that as well. But yeah, mindful making and working at your own speed, and working kind of like the things that you really want to work on and at your own speed, and not trying to get into deadlines and so on. I don't think that it's very sustainable, and it's against kind of like the slow fashion idea that I want to promote with knitting. So that's why you don't have to start the project on a set date or finish it by a set date. Just join us and work with at your own speed, and if you have already started a project, just continue with that one. It's okay. But anyway, I picked the Acorn Pullover. So it's this one. It's one of the more simple patterns from my book, and there's a clear version of it over here. Yeah. There. So it's a very simple top-down sweater with kind of like ribbing, and then also kind of like this rolling edge at the neckband, and a bit more like a structure at the sleeve, the shape of the sleeve, and it has a bit of like a high-low hem, so it's higher at the front and a bit lower, dipping at the back. So that's what I wanted to do. This is also knitted with the Rerum Naturus Sirena. So it's an Aran weight yarn with like a chunky yarn with big needles. Or bulky weight yarn, actually, not Aran, bulky weight yarn. But I wanted to turn the same design into the same thing as with the Tula pullover that I just showed you. I wanted to do a more lightweight version, so instead of using bulky yarn, I'm using fingering weight yarn. It looks like Luna loves this, as you can see, as much as I do. But yeah, fingering weight yarn and silk mohair. So this is knitting for olives, and this is my favorite color at the moment. I want everything in this color. I want to kind of like dress head to toe into this like burgundy berry color. So you can see how it looks like. It has the rolling top at the ribbing, and then increases around the yoke, and I have separated the sleeves, and now I'm working on the body. And for this one I'm using, if Luna lets me show you, Knitting for Olives soft silk mohair and merino, and these are both in the colorway border. So I use this same exact colorway already for a beanie, so I'm kind of like already set for the head to toe Bordeaux burgundy look. So I made this poet beanie using the same exact colors. Yeah, Luna loves it. It's a favorite. Well, I know, I love it too. But yeah, poet beanie. This was a new pattern that I made this autumn, and you can find the pattern on Ravelry and in my web shop on sarinodol.com. So yeah, it's knitted top down with a lace pattern, and I made the same hat in this lighter yarn as well, so maybe you can see the poet lace pattern better on this one. So those were sweaters that I had on my needles. Like I said, I have a few little scarf projects, but those are for the next video. I'll show those to you. I have one more thing, actually two more things that I want to show you in this video. This is an upcoming pattern that I'm releasing very soon, maybe already next week. Let's see if I have everything ready by that time. So I'm calling this is the Boulevardi beanie. Boulevardi is one of the prettiest streets in Helsinki, so I named this after that. It's a very basic top down beanie. So like I said, it started at the top, then worked in stockinette stitch, and then you have this just ripped edge to it. And I've used Knitting for Olives Merino and Soft Silk Mohair for this one. Those are both in the Dusty Olive colorway. And then I made a matching collar for the set. So just put it on. It kind of has this raglan increases, this kind of round shape. It goes well over your shoulders, so it's really good under your coat. It stays in place. And then this funnel neck, there's also an option for a full turtleneck in the pattern, so you can choose which you want to do. And this is knitted in one piece, and the front is worked with short rows, and also the same thing for the back. Kind of like to make this a round shape and make the front a bit longer than it's on the shoulder. So this is the Boulevardi collar, and this is a new pattern that I'm releasing very soon, so hopefully next week already. And then I have one more thing. It's over here. So this is the Belle and Sebastian pullover, and I had the honor to work with the Wandering Flock's new fluff base. So it's a new base that they just released, and this is the ecru of white colorway. This is also knitted top down with some quite simple cables over it, and this 4 cable pattern over here, and then just moss stitch on the side. So this is absolutely gorgeously soft. This is a new pattern that I'm releasing very soon, so I think it's coming at the beginning of December. So the Belle and Sebastian pullover, it's still currently being test knitted. I'm just waiting for the go ahead from the Wandering Flock so that they have enough of the base on stock, so that when I release the pattern they have yarn for everybody. They already soft launched it at Sacred Sheep, and it sold really well. They have some beautiful colors of this yarn. My favorite is the light purple one. I'm going to use it for the second sample of this sweater. So this is the Belle and Sebastian pullover, named both after the band and the old TV series that I watched as a kid. It was about a boy and a dog, and the dog was like this super fluffy golden, not golden, I think it was a golden retriever or some other fluffy big white dog breed, kind of like this yarn and this base reminds me of getting to hug a huge fluffy soft cute dog. So that's one of the reasons why I gave this sweater that name. But it's the Belle and Sebastian pullover. The pattern is coming very soon. But yeah, that was everything I had for today. This was already a lot, I know. And I promise I will film a new video for you sooner than 5 months from now. But thanks for watching. Remember, the Acorn Pullover discount code was 20% off until the end of the year with the code Acorn on Ravelry and on sarinorton.com. And thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Me babbling on about all kinds of stuff. And if you like my videos, remember to subscribe to my channel and remember to also follow me on Instagram. I'm more active over there. So that's everything. See you soon again. Bye!